Hi everyone, and welcome to my third trimester video diary. Um, I am currently 30 weeks and 6 days pregnant, so I'll be 31 weeks tomorrow. Um, and I am trying to remember where I left you off, whether I had mentioned my 28-week pregnancy midwife appointment or not in my last video. If not, it all went fine, all smooth. I didn't hear anything back about my blood results that they took. They said they'd only call if there was any issues like low iron or anything. So nothing to do with that, which is great. And because everything is still progressing nicely and I'm still low risk and all that jazz, they have now referred me to the home birth team here in the North Bristol NHS Trust. So I will be then having all of my midwife appointments from now until birth with the home birth team, which is great. If you didn't know, that is our ideal plan, having a home birth. I should say our ideal preference is to have a home birth. And if everything continues to go smoothly, that will be able to be an option. So that's great. So I think my next midwife appointment will now be at 34 weeks, considering I'm a second time mum. So you see the midwives less when you're a second time or subsequent parent. Yeah, so all's good on that front. I'm still feeling really well in this pregnancy. I mean, I definitely feel like I'm getting slower, but I am in my third trimester, so that makes sense. The pelvic girdle pain and pelvic pressure that I've been struggling with through my second trimester hasn't been as bad lately. And I'm not sure if that's due to the pregnancy yoga that I've been doing. I think it possibly could be. I'm also still walking a fair bit, walking my daughter to and from preschool. And that's quite a walk. That's now taking me about an hour round trip. So in addition to the yoga and the walking, I'm also still doing my pole dancing fitness classes. However, for this third trimester, I have stepped down to the beginner class. So I'm at a lower level and just taking it a lot easier. And I probably will wrap that up soon. I'd be chuffed if I can get to 35 weeks still doing the classes, but I need to listen to my body, and if I need to stop before then I will. I'm also now really trying to practice my hypnobirthing meditations and breathing every day. So that's one of my aims for this trimester, to really try and do that. Yeah, still generally feeling quite well. I have had slight dizziness again, or I should say still, that I talked about in my second trimester vlog. I guess a little bit of low blood pressure, which is so normal in pregnancy because you're growing another human. And the midwives aren't concerned. I have spoken to them about it. So just taking it easy when I do get dizzy, and trying to avoid as many trips upstairs in my house as I can, because we live on a house, we live in a townhouse which has 3 floors. So of a morning, I'm like, what do I need from our bedroom, which is on the top floor? And I try and think of everything that I could possibly need from our bedroom to take downstairs, or even the second floor, even the middle floor. Because we spend most of our time on the first floor. I'm like, I want to avoid as many trips upstairs as I can. Because going up and down the stairs can be, number one, I can just get tired. Number two, I can get a little bit dizzy. And number three, on days when my pelvic pressure is playing up the stairs, really make that a lot worse. But yeah, all in all, still feeling really good. And feeling really positive about after baby's arrival as well. I feel like I'm really setting myself up this time around to have kind of a smoother postpartum than I did last time. If you haven't followed me for long, I did struggle with postpartum depression and anxiety following the birth of my daughter Ada, and she will be she'll be 4 around the time that this baby is due. So so that was 4 years ago, and I obviously don't want to be in that situation again. So really trying to set myself up to have the smoothest postpartum possible. Um, Thinking about all the things, all the things. One thing that I didn't do last time around was get out of the house much. I found everything so hard initially that then I just found it really difficult to get out of the house, especially like I'd be getting things ready and then Ada would start crying as I'm trying to like load her into the car. And I'd be just like, no, this is too much. I can't, because I was so scared of her crying in public. I was struggling with establishing breastfeeding as well. So like one of my biggest fears was like being in public, her crying. She was a, I guess they call them a colicky baby, don't they? Where they seem to cry a lot, more than, I mean, babies cry, but when it's almost constant or it's for hours every day, which she was. And then when I was struggling establishing breastfeeding and getting the latch right, it was one of my worst fears to like be in public and then have her start crying and not be able to comfort her by getting her to latch efficiently to the breast. So I think just at first I didn't really get out much, and then once I had established breastfeeding and I did start going out to, I went to like 2 baby groups, and we started going to a swimming class, and I think I met up with like one friend, and then lockdown happened, and then so I was at home anyway, which I felt relief about, but then it did isolate me a lot again. So this time around I'm like, not only do I not want to isolate myself, but I also have my daughter, my 4-year-old daughter, to think about. And I need to be getting her out and about. I can't just spend every day at home with her in front of the TV. Like, that's not what I want to be doing. Um, so I've made like a list on my phone of all the free activities and what days. Like I've got a list under Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, like things that we could do each day. Every single morning I'll be able to like look at that and be like, what are we going to do today? How are we going to get outside today? Even if we get outside to go for a walk 2 blocks down to the local park and do a lap around the park, and my daughter goes and plays in the playground, like that'll be a success, and I know I will feel better for it. So I'm setting myself up for that. And that's like the goal, to get outside once every day kind of thing, like get out and do something. Don't isolate myself this time. But yeah, so just feeling really positive is kind of the overall gist of this video. Feeling really positive about my 3rd trimester and feeling really positive about the postpartum days, which I know I'm doing a lot of birth prep at the moment, but also thinking forward to that postpartum prep, I think is really important for me, considering the experience I had last time. So yeah, all going really well. I'm going to leave that update here because I feel like I've rambled enough now, and I will update you again soon. So time for another update. I am currently 35 weeks and 2 days pregnant, and I'm really starting to feel it now. I am feeling very heavily pregnant right now, and it's made me think, like, this whole time I've been expecting baby to come late, because my daughter was overdue as well, and this time around I've had the mentality that I'm happy to wait for baby to make their appearance whenever they deem fit, whether that is 2 weeks past due date or potentially even longer. I'm happy to just let them take their time. But the way I've been feeling the last few days, I feel like baby has possibly dropped and my pelvis is in quite a lot of discomfort, which kind of feels like it is separating, which is what, you know, happens for baby to appear. I'm in quite a lot of pelvic pain at the moment, and I'm walking with a limp because of it, which is quite interesting. I'm going to a yoga class tonight, a pregnancy yoga class tonight, and I'm hoping it will help. I also had a massage on Monday, which was so lovely. Had the most amazing massage with Rowan at the Almavale Centre in Clifton, Bristol. If you happen to be local and you need a pregnancy massage, highly suggest her. Highly recommend. She was brilliant. But yeah, I am in quite a lot of discomfort at the moment. Overall, still feeling really well though, so I can't complain too much. I still feel like, what's a little bit of pelvic pain when it comes to so many other issues that other women have in pregnancy. So I really feel like I am getting off really lucky and lightly. We had our first appointment last week with the home birth team midwives. So they came to our house and had my 34-week midwife appointment here at our home, which was really wonderful. They're doing my home birth assessment next week when I am 36 weeks pregnant. So excited about that. Again, it seems like everything is all clear to continue with our plan for home birth, which is just really exciting. And this morning I also had I had a visit from the health visitor. Apparently nowadays they do an antenatal visit prior to then their postpartum visits, which is quite nice. I don't remember them doing that with Ada. It didn't happen when I had my daughter. We just met the health visitor after. The woman was really nice, and good to chat to them, and really reaffirm that I feel like I'm prepared this time around for postpartum, more so than I was last time. And what else is there? Oh, I finally had my final exercise class this week. I'm just going to stick with the pregnancy yoga and walking from now on. But I went to my last pole dancing fitness class on Monday night when I was 35 weeks on the dot. And it was a great class. I feel like I ended it on a high, and I'm really proud that I've managed to get to 35 weeks still dancing. It's really made such a difference to my health and fitness and mentality this pregnancy as well. I feel really lucky that my body has allowed me to continue, because it's definitely had positive outcomes for me, both physically and mentally. And hopefully it won't be too long until I can get back to that class again once baby has arrived and I'm all clear to exercise again. Uh, yeah. Trying to think if there's any other updates. I'm just in the midst of like getting things ready for baby. Like this morning I was cleaning our infant car seat. We'd stored it very carefully after Ada had finished using it. I'm very big on car seat safety, so we stored it really well, and so that meant it is in good shape to be used again. So I just gave it a little bit of a spot clean, and got the carry cot attachment for the pram out and all the fabrics on that cleaned as well. We've done lots of changing around in our daughter's room, preparing for baby, so we had to take away the rocking chair to put in our room for obviously night feeds with baby, which meant we got another little like bench seat for my daughter's room, because I still sit in there. Me or my husband still sit in her room to get her to sleep, and then when she wakes in the night we have to come down and sit again to wait for her to fall back asleep. And we also moved some stuff around in her room to allow for a new chest of drawers for her clothes to go in, because baby's clothes are now going in our chest of drawers that is the change table. So getting everything ready. Not quite there yet, but almost ready. I've also been like packing things for my birth bag. I'm probably going to film a video of what's in my birth bag as a second time mum. Yeah, probably do that. And I might do a video as well about preparing for a home birth. Although I would say that I'll probably only post that if I actually do have a home birth. If I don't, I'll feel like that might be useless information because I wouldn't actually have the experience of the home birth itself to say this was actually helpful, this wasn't, you know. Yeah, I think that's all the updates for you right now. I'll show you my baby bump as well. It is, as I said, getting rather large now. I'm in my daughter's room, sorry, so let me see. Let's get this. Alright, here is my bump at 35 weeks and 2 days pregnant. Can you see what I mean about how it feels? Well, it looks quite low to me. Certainly feels quite low. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll be back with another update soon. Hi, so I'm 36 and 1 day pregnant, and yesterday we had our second home birth midwife appointment at home, and it was also our home birth assessment. The assessment itself was absolutely fine. Apologies, I'm full of a cold right now, feeling awful. So the home birth assessment went really well. The midwife was super lovely, but there were two things that kind of cropped up as not issues yet, but potential issues, and it's kind of got me slightly worried, as anything would, but trying to reassure myself about it. There's probably nothing. But anyway, yeah. So we had the home birth assessment. Everything is fine, all good to go for us to have a home birth here. And they talked us through like what we need to do on the day, like when we need to call them, all that kind of thing. Especially being a second time mum, I kind of have to give them a call a little bit earlier than a first time mum would, because there's potential that things will progress quicker as a second time mum. But anyway, the two issues that popped up that were a little bit interesting was, firstly, I'll mention I had my last midwife appointment only a week and a half ago, because I had that appointment, my 34-week appointment was at the end of the week. And then this week's appointment, my 36-week appointment, was on the day of turning 36 weeks on a Monday. So I only had my last appointment a week and a half ago, so that's important to remember. But when the midwife, who was a different midwife from last time, measured my fundal height, so measured my belly, baby's measurement hadn't grown. Now, two things, obviously, I know already, because this is the issue that cropped up with Ada last time. And then I was sent for growth scans, and then told I had to be induced and all of that. And it was just like cascade after that. But I know from researching that different midwives can measure differently. I also know that where I felt the last appointment's midwife measure from was lower than where this midwife measured from yesterday. And I did mention that to her. I said, yeah, the other midwife went from slightly lower down. And thirdly, as this midwife said, baby was completely free last appointment, sorry. Only 2/5 of his head is still out of my pelvis. So he is very low, and he's dropped that way since the last appointment. They saw that the measurement was the same now as well. In saying this, the measurement last time, so at 34 weeks, was 35 centimeters. So technically it was a centimeter ahead. Now at 36 weeks, it's only a centimeter behind. So that's still in the realm of normal, because they give you 2 centimeters kind of either way. So what they've arranged to do is they're coming back on Sunday, so 6 days, and they're going to come back and measure me again then.
And if baby hasn't grown more than 1 centimetre, oh, sorry, not baby. If my fundal height hasn't grown more than 1 centimetre, then I'll be referred for the scan. So that's when I'll need to make decisions about that. But I know that if I'm referred for the scan, I will go for the scan. But it's just depending on what I ask them to do at the scan. That will be the question. And she was very supportive of that. But as she said, it does make sense that it's probably not grown in measurement because one, different midwives measuring differently, and two, because baby has dropped down and engaged so much when he wasn't engaged at all last appointment. So that makes total sense to me. And I can feel like he's moving so much. Like I know he's healthy in there. Like I can feel it. But anyway, that was that issue. Second issue, they do a carbon monoxide test where you have to blow into this tube. And my reading came back high, which is odd. And the midwife was very confused. The only thing that she could think of is that it's pollution from traffic. And I do walk along a main road at peak traffic times to drop my daughter at preschool. So there's potential that could be it. But they want to check that again in 6 days' time, just to check. Because obviously carbon monoxide poisoning, or not carbon monoxide poisoning, high levels of carbon monoxide can be a risk factor for a small baby. So then alongside the fundal height reading issue, the two things alone may not be a problem. The two things together could be a problem. So, yeah, it's all a bit strange. Yeah, I'm just hoping that in 6 days when they come back on Sunday, so it's Tuesday now, when they come back on Sunday, that everything's fine, that everything's normal, and we can proceed normally. And we can proceed with our home birth plans today. But yeah, I'm kind of hoping that before any of this turns into an issue at all, and that before I even need to make any decisions, that baby decides to make his appearance. Because like I said, I'm 36-1 right now, and like I said, he is very much engaged. Me and Dan started to discuss like the fact that all along I've been feeling like he's going to be a late baby, like Ada was. So like, not late, but like post due date. So I was prepared to go up to 42 weeks. And then the way I was feeling last week, I was like, I don't think he's that far off. I think he might come sooner rather than later. And last week, in fact, I was just thinking like, at least hold on till 37 weeks, because I was only 35 weeks last week, and this would then be a preterm baby if he comes before Monday. So it's Tuesday now. As long as he holds out till Monday, he's considered term. But yeah, we'll see what happens. And yeah, kind of am hoping that before any decisions need to be made about growth scans or anything like that, that baby just decides to make an appearance, maybe, because that might solve all our issues. But like I said, they're not issues yet. They've given us 6 days, and then they're going to come back and reassess. And then if they are still the same, then that'll be a discussion. And obviously we'll do what we need to do and use our brains and figure out the best course of action. Hi guys, so quick update. I am 37 weeks and 2 days pregnant, and I had those extra checks on Sunday. It's now Wednesday. And it was a bit of a faff, to be honest. So the home birth midwives couldn't come to me on Sunday because they were called to a home birth in progress, which is lovely, which is wonderful. But that meant they asked me to go into the hospital to have the checks done, because obviously they wanted to get them done. And so they sent me into the birth centre to see the midwife that was in there
to just get the checks done quickly. Um, it did take a lot of waiting around. Basically, this poor midwife was run off her feet sorting out multiple different things with different people. So, poor thing. She felt really bad that she kept me waiting for so long. But it was kind of lovely because for 2.5 hours I was sat in one of the birth centre rooms, which I hadn't actually gotten the chance to see before, even when we had Ada. And the birth centre was actually our top choice for our birthplace. Um, the day we did the tour of the hospital, we couldn't view the birth centre rooms because they were all in use at the time. So we never got to see them, but I got to sit in one for 2.5 hours on Sunday and it was lovely. But anyway, my bump measurement, so my fundal height measurement, ended up being fine. There was a bit of confusion at first. There was a bit of back and forth because the midwife was personally still worried about it, and wanted to refer me for a growth scan, but I kind of like asked lots of questions about that and asked if it would be possible to like do the scan to check baby was healthy and the placenta was healthy and all that kind of thing without having the measurements done, because I know the measurements at this stage, there's a 20% margin of error either way, and I just feel like that could be something that I could end up going for a growth scan. They tell me baby's small, I get told I need to have an induction, and then it's just exactly the same thing that happened last time in my last birth. And baby Ada, when this happened last time, she was fine. She wasn't small. So it was kind of all for nothing, and I really, really don't want that to happen again. So I was asking lots of questions because I was happy with the fundal height measurement that the midwife gave, that the midwife measured on Sunday. And the midwife that I'd seen previously, she had said as long as I was measuring 36, then everything would be fine. And I measured 36, so I was like, it's fine. It took until the midwife actually going up to the delivery suites and having a quick chat to one of the doctors up there, and showing her my fundal height measurement chart, and they were like, yeah, not concerned at all. So then luckily that took the need for a growth scan off the table, and all seems to be fine there. However, my carbon monoxide reading was still slightly high. So it was still 5, and it had been 7 at the previous appointment. So it had dropped slightly, but still 5 is high, especially for someone like me who's not a smoker. It's very confusing. The only thing that we can think of is that it is traffic pollution. So I've been trying to avoid, like, I haven't walked my daughter to preschool for the last, well, this week or last week. I haven't walked her to preschool. I've driven her instead, which seems very counterproductive when it comes to traffic pollution. Yeah, so after a lot of discussion about that, and I was kind of like really wanting to know more information before I made a decision on anything like that. But basically they need to refer me for a doctor appointment, I think it's with a consultant, to discuss this. And as far as I know, it's just a discussion. But I haven't heard back about when that appointment will be yet. So I will keep you updated on that. And I'm not really sure what it's going to involve, because from what I've looked up online, like, all the information about carbon monoxide in pregnancy is about helping the mother to quit smoking and have discussions with the mother about what they can do to quit smoking or have others in their household quit smoking. I'm like, that doesn't apply to me. I'm not a smoker. No one in my house is a smoker. I just don't understand. So I don't know if this appointment that I go to is purely going to be talking about quitting smoking, because that seems like a waste of time. But anyway, we will see what happens. And I will keep you updated. But apart from that, I'm feeling really well. Yeah, no complaints. Hi everyone, a really quick update. I am currently 39 weeks and 5 days pregnant. So all my talking before about I feel like baby is coming soon was not to be. Baby is still cooking away in there, and my due date is in 2 days. Or 1.5 now, it's late afternoon. I ended up getting that consultant appointment through, and I, in fact, kind of rang up to half-heartedly cancel it by saying that I didn't have childcare for my daughter, which was true. to which they responded that I could bring my daughter to the appointment. So I went along, and I was really relieved straight away when they took me in for the checks that my carbon monoxide level had dropped back to normal. So that was great. So evidently, I think it was traffic pollution, because I'd been making a concerted effort to avoid traffic pollution, and my levels had dropped back to normal. So that was a relief. But then when I went in to see I think she was like a senior midwife that reported directly to a consultant. So I didn't actually talk to the consultant themselves. She was like getting my information from me and then going and talking to the consultant and then coming back to me with what they said. Um, but she made me think everything was fine as well. And then she went off to discuss with the consultant and came back and said they'd like me to have a growth scan, which is exactly what I thought might happen. And basically, I didn't really want to do that. And I had a discussion about why, especially considering the situation with my daughter, having a growth scan with her at full term, being told she was a small baby, being told I needed to have an induction, that not going pleasantly, only for her to be born and be absolutely fine. Um, so I really didn't want to get myself into a situation like that again. Um, and I actually ended up in tears in this appointment, because they were saying like scary language. They even had the sonographer come into the room and be like, "We've got a room ready and waiting for you. Are you coming now?" Like, and I'm still discussing it with them, being like, "I'm not sure if I want to do this." Luckily, because they'd said my daughter could be there, as soon as the sonographer saw my child there, they were like, "Oh, a child can't come into the scans, so we'll have to book it for you for tomorrow or something then." So that ruled out having it done then and there, which gave me a little bit more time to think and process. Um, and because they were scaring me quite a bit, I did end up agreeing to them booking me in for the next day on the proviso that I they did say I could cancel it. Um, and I said I have a midwife appointment this afternoon with my regular midwife, with the home birth team, and I'd like to discuss this further with them before I make any decisions. So basically, that's what was done. It was booked in for me for the next day. I didn't feel comfortable with it. And then I went home. My husband came home from work early after hearing about what had happened, and he could hear how upset I was. Um, and then my midwife that afternoon, it was a new midwife I hadn't met from the home birth team. Not a new midwife, it was just one I hadn't met before. And she was exactly what we needed, exactly who I needed to hear from that afternoon. She was so brilliant. Firstly, she talked through everything with me, like gave me even more detail than the consultant appointment had, talked me through the whole situation as they could see it, and really gave me a lot more information in order to make an informed choice myself. She then measured my bump, which was measuring perfectly. So she said, based on the fact that your carbon monoxide level has returned to normal and my measurement was measuring fine, she said I'm well within my rights, which I would be anyway, but well within a comfort level to cancel the scan if that's what I felt comfortable doing. She even rang her supervisor while she was here, and they were part of Birth Choices team, so she was able to like run it through them so that I knew that if I declined this scan, like it wasn't going to mean anything was off the table for my birth plan in terms of like home birth and stuff. So really gave me reassurance both in me being able to make my own choice and my own decisions, feel like I had more information to adequately make a safe choice, and just so reassuring about both me and baby's health and my birth plan and its ability to go ahead, as normal if I decline the scan. So, and she was just so kind and so lovely, and that is exactly what I needed that afternoon. She was so compassionate and just so supportive, and she was brilliant. Thank you, Sophie. She was wonderful. But yeah, so that was last week. That was over a week ago now. And yeah, I am still pregnant. It's Saturday now, and on Thursday, baby did have me thinking it could possibly be go time. But I had cramping all day, but it never became regular or stronger or anything like that. It was just a whole day of cramping. Yesterday I've been a bit crampy as well, and again today. So I don't know if this is my body preparing to go into labor. So I don't know. I like to think it's my body prepping and getting ready for birth, but who knows? We will see when baby decides to make his appearance. But yeah, just thought I would update you with that. This might be my last update. I don't know. We'll see. It might not be. Who knows? Anyway, thanks for watching if this is my last update. Yeah. Bye.